What's up, everybody? Yeah, here we go. Friday. Love Fridays. Friday, we can chit chat a little bit and talk some smack and hopefully bring you actionable, evidence based, honest information that will benefit your life in some sort of way immediately. We're not going to waste our time on the hocus pocus, bogus BS, all too common in the fitness world. I just want to drop some straight facts for you. Now, the title of this video is How I Lost 100 Pounds Without Counting Calories or Resorting to these exclusionary, restrictive, fad dietary practices. And this is all 100% true. Those of you who have followed me or followed our brand for any period of time, you will know this is 100% true. And those of you who have followed us and our messaging for a few episodes, a few months, a few years, or the last 2 decades, you will know that we speak about the same things over and over and over again because these are the things that work. I am not going to change my principles, my philosophies, my products, my programs simply because there's a new hashtag or a keyword popping up on your social media screens or Yahoo News. We simply tell you the truth, the most actionable, evidence-based information, and we let you decide what works. So I want to talk briefly about myself at 282 pounds. And if you watched or you saw the avatar, you will see me right around that maximum. My wife, Brandy, who was my girlfriend at the time, is sitting behind me, and you can't barely see her. She looks like a little fly buzzing around my shoulder, unfortunately. I was massive, 5'10", 282, 283 pounds. It was insane. I looked like a square. Now, I had 30% body fat. A third of my body was fat. Yes, it was. And I had all the negative health issues that come along with such a high body fat percentage. Although I was in my mid 20s, I was in my mid 20s at 282 pounds. Absolutely insane. What did I do? I woke up one day after a visit to my doctor, which I spoke about in our book, Living Lean. And my doctor said, "Shame on you. How dare you do this to yourself?" I was like, "Whoa, doc, what are you talking about? I can squat 800 pounds. And she said, "This is ridiculous. You are a stupid boy." I was like, "Whoa." She was this wonderful Asian lady. I don't know if I can say her name or not, but she was awesome. She was our family doctor, so she knew my whole family for years and years. "Stupid boy," she said. And as she said that, I realized, you know what? You're absolutely right. What the hell am I doing to myself? I'm pretending. I'm using every excuse in the book to allow myself to just be a glutton, to overeat, to emotionally eat, to socially eat, to eat. I would have 2 dinners. Literally, I would go to my favorite pizza shop for lunch and I would order a penne pasta with chicken. I'd usually order a whole sub. I'd get Italian bread or garlic and cheese bread with extra cheese on it. I would pound that down. I would get maybe a cannoli or some extra cookies or some cheesecake. This is for lunch. I would literally eat 2 full grown-ass adult dinners and sides and appetizers and desserts for lunch. And I would do this every day at the same shop, day after day after day after day. My dinners were disgusting. The amount of food I put in my body was insane. Insane at that point because I was eating for mass. I was bulking up. And this is the late 90s, early 2000s, when the bulk up phase was still big in the meathead world. And I was a competitive power lifter, but powerlifting is an amateur sport and there's no real career progression in powerlifting. And unfortunately, a lot of these meathead sports, they're very self-destructive. And all my meathead friends, we all agree, the high level power lifters, the high level bodybuilders, the high level strongmen, all but a few, like 1% of the 1%, actually make careers out of it. For the rest of us, it's just a very self-destructive hobby. Anyway, so me up at 282 pounds, I realized I had to make a change. I was already a highly successful strength coach at this point. I was working with a ton of athletes, most of which were combat athletes, wrestlers and grapplers and jujitsu competitors, and some boxers, and mixed martial arts was still relatively new, though I worked with quite a few at that time in my life. And I started to focus more on not just sports performance, because the science of sports performance, again, is very destructive. It's very self-destructive. What athletes are willing to do to win medals is very self-destructive by and large. And you guys will understand that. So instead, and hearing my doctor tell me I'm a very stupid boy, I decided to focus on longevity. And I was always fascinated with longevity and longevity medicine and health prevention, or the prevention of disease, simply because I saw my father waste away. He had a massive stroke and a heart attack when I was a young boy, and it completely tore my family apart. And we were just buried in medical bills. Half my childhood was basically spent in emergency rooms and hospitals and doctors' offices, and with like these houses. They're kind of like medical facilities, but it's kind of like a hotel, kind of like a condo, where he can't quite live at home. He's got to live in this place. And then it was just horrible. And I was always fascinated by that, the longevity side, whether I knew it or not. I was. So at this phase in my mid-20s, weighing 282 pounds, I realized, oh my goodness, like I'm on the same path that my father was. Because my doctor said, you have the blood work of a very sick 55-year-old man. And maybe I was 25 or 23 at this point. I was like, whoa. That was like mind blown, because that was around the age my father was when he got sick and passed on. Wake up call, right? Big wake up call. So what did I do? Did I start counting my calories? Did I start tracking my macros? Did I jump onto a keto program, which was the Atkins diet at this time, and the Mauro Di Pasquale's the metabolic or the anabolic diet? The keto thing was already out there. The intermittent fasting, it was already out there. Like a paleo ripoff was already out there before paleo even came out. It was already out there. The zone diets, all these other diets, whatever their timeline was, they came and they went, they come and they go. But did I jump into any of those? No, I didn't. What did I do? I went and I looked at best practices. What is best practices for the human species? What are the best, most healthy, most nutritious foods for humans, for all humans, the vast majority of the human population, for the vast majority of time? What are the healthiest possible foods? And I went and I broke down that list into approximately like 40 mainstays and about 120 total different ingredients, very specific foods, from fresh fruit and vegetables and nuts and seeds and lean proteins and microgreens and oils and so on. I looked at everything because I had access and I had the time and I had the motivation to do that. And I looked at all this and I said, well, where does all this longevity stuff blend with all this sports performance stuff? And I was able to actually blend these two worlds of longevity and sports performance. And I started to adopt a new meal plan for myself at that time, which was like a hybrid meal plan of longevity and sports performance, because I still was a performer. I still was an athlete. I was still competitive. I still had dreams and desires of competing on the powerlifting platform, getting back into wrestling. I was already starting jujitsu. I think I was a blue belt under Renzo Gracie at this point, training up in his New York City academy. I was working with a lot of the mixed martial arts athletes. I was training with some Highland game competitors. I wanted to, fly over to Scotland. I think there was a year later, there was a big Highland Games event coming up. I wanted to test my hand at that. So there's lots of competitive things I wanted to do while improving my health outcomes. And this is where it really matters. I wanted to still pursue my health and fitness, my fitness and athletic goals, while improving my health outcomes, so I could live a very long life of high utility. This is the blend that most of these exclusionary restrictive dietary practices miss. They don't do that. They don't blend that very well. And what I've found which I believe is the most successful form of healthy nutrition for the vast majority of the population, which I've proven myself. If you look at those photos, you see a man who's lost over 100 pounds. I went from 282 all the way down to 169 pounds at my lowest, and I was fucking shredded, stupid shredded at 169 pounds. The photo of me there, you see kind of standing on the side with the old iPhone. So it's not as great. I wish I had a good iPhone back in those days. You can see I'm just fucking scraped out, shredded up. How did I lose all of that weight? How did I lose all of that excess skin? How did I build those healthy, shapely muscles? This is following a longevity-based diet, to which we call the DOLCE diet. That's what the DOLCE diet is. It is a common sense approach to long-term health and fitness that just so happens to have the immediate short-term benefit of athletic performance and body composition. Now, think about that. Isn't that what we're all after? A long-term, longevity-based approach to extend our health, to extend our life, to extend our utility, that as a side effect of the long-term goal has the short-term effect of immediate athletic improvement and immediate positive body composition. Building muscle, losing body fat, getting stronger, getting more shapely, building endurance, increasing energy. That's what this does. Hopefully those pictures clearly show that. And those of you who have followed me, followed this channel, followed our talks, followed all of the athletes, the scores, the hundreds, if not thousands of professional, Olympic, NCAA athletes that we've worked with over the last 20 plus years, you've seen it in the performance. So we don't count calories, and that's the most important thing. What I found, I mean, I was crushing food. I was probably eating 6,000 to 8,000 calories per day. Every day, I'm sure I went over 10,000 calories here and there. I was an eating machine. I trained myself to eat and to consume more and more and more over years' time. I went from the 181 class to the 198 to the 220 to the 242 to the super heavyweight class as a powerlifter. In high school, I wrestled. I started my freshman year in high school at 114 pounds. I graduated at 210. My first wrestling match freshman year was at 125 pounds, and I was weighing like 117. But we needed a guy at 125, and I was the guy. So they bumped me to 125. I wrestled my first freshman varsity match as a 4-year varsity wrestler at 125. And then my sophomore and junior years, I wrestled 152. Or I was cutting hard junior year to make 152. And my senior year, I wrestled 189 and heavyweight. I mean, so I forced myself to grow. I know how to grow, right? You can tell I know how to grow. I know how to put on mass. Fuck. How many people add almost 100 pounds of muscle? Went from 5'4" to 5'10". I was, kind of freshman to senior year, right? So I grew about 6 inches or so, but I put on 100 pounds of muscle, way leaner at 210 than I was at 114 when I first started. And I continued that all the way through into my mid-20s when I capped out at 282 pounds, but I was sick. I was not healthy. And I determined a longevity-based diet was the most appropriate diet for me. And what I found when I focused on long-term health outcomes, the short-term immediately took care of itself. Now, when we say don't count calories, make calories count, that is because through our research, through our focus, and through our 20, 30 years now, 20 plus years of experimentation, it is 20 years now. I'm 43. That was like when I was 23. 20 years of experimentation. When you eat a healthful, whole food diet, the need for calorie counting and macro tracking, it's unnecessary. Can it be beneficial? Sure, it can be beneficial. All the data is beneficial, but it's unnecessary because your body will self-regulate total caloric consumption when you're eating a healthful, wholesome, whole food diet. It's very difficult to overeat real food, whole food. Think about this. How many of you sit down and eat 5 apples in a sitting? Almost none of you. If you want a snack, grab an apple or 2 and a handful of cashews. You're good to go. Now, you could easily walk into a pizza place for, quote, a snack and have 1, 2, 3 slices of pizza with pepperoni and sausage or something else on there, and maybe a little bag of chips or a cannoli or a stuffed bread, and suck down a soda or a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi. So with following, one apple has approximately 100 calories in one apple. Maybe you get a handful of cashews. It's another 100, 150 calories right there. A slice of pizza is more than that. You'll eat 2 or 3 slices of pizza, no problem. And you'll still be kind of hungry with an upset stomach at that phase. So when you're eating the traditional American diet, when you're eating following a restrictive exclusionary dietary program, you're risking nutrient deficiencies, vital micronutrients you are missing through not consuming a wide variety of earth-grown nutrients. You're missing the basic cellular components to health and wellness, which is the micro and the phytonutrients. You're completely eradicating that. Like if you're a keto or carnivore, you're not eating microgreens. You're not eating this micronutrition. You're not getting in the phytonutrition. Why not? It's not bad for you. So I don't understand the restrictive component. If you're a vegan, you're not eating wild caught salmon. Why not? You're not getting the healthy component of that sort of nutrient allocation. Why not? There's no negative data on wild caught salmon. There's zero negative data on wild caught salmon, to just point one. So, I'm equally disagreeing with the carnivores and the vegans, where an omnivoric diet is the most efficient, the most successful nutrition plan for all humans. But you don't have to count the calories. You don't have to track the macros. It doesn't have to be that hard. That's my point. Now, I did it. A lot of people run around and they talk shit. I actually lost 113 pounds. I did it. I went from 282 down to 169, and now I walk around in the lower 200s and feel awesome. I fucking did it, right? I did it. So are you going to listen to all these assholes running around? Unfortunately, they look into a book or they read someone else's study and they sit there on their microphone and they talk like they know what the fuck they're talking about. They didn't do it. Are you going to listen to the guys that are running around on fucking steroids and growth hormone and fat burning agents, all the pharmaceuticals? And they're telling you what to eat, but they're not telling you what they're actually injecting, right? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. And I don't care. People can do whatever the fuck they do. I don't care about that. But when it comes to a healthful meal plan for long-term outcomes that has the benefit of short-term performance, it really should be a whole food-based diet of wide variety of whole foods, fresh, local, organic, natural, minimally processed, minimally prepared to maximize the nutrient content. The higher the nutrient content, the lower the total caloric load, the less the total food that you must consume. That's the basis of the DOLCE diet. And ours is the most successful weight management program in all of combat sports. In the history of combat sports, the DOLCE diet is more successful than any other weight management and performance plan than any other competitor ever. The DOLCE diet is more successful. We have the data, the resume, the athletes, the stats to prove that and uphold that. And nobody even disagrees with that or debates that. Ours is the most successful. And ours is exactly what I'm telling you right now. It is a wide variety of whole foods of earth-grown nutrients where people are eating fruits, they're eating vegetables, they're eating grains, they're eating meats, they're eating a wide variety of earth-grown nutrition, and they're having these amazing health outcomes and performance outcomes. It's non-exclusionary, it's non-restrictive, it is very commonsensical. This is what works. And this is where we get our most criticism, in that we're not coming out with new stuff. We're not grabbing the new fads, because that's what fads are. Fads are a waste of time, and fads are deceptive. They deceive you from what actually works. And the only thing I want, guys and gals, is I want you to understand what works. This works. Look at that photo again. Look at that photo. Look at that photo. I lost over 100 pounds doing this. I learned. I continue to evolve. We have a team of registered dietitians that work inside our company, and we only provide you best practices of what works. If any of these restrictive exclusionary dietary programs worked, we would be all in talking about that all day long, monetizing that. But they don't. That's why we don't talk about it. So I'm have a very impassioned plea in this conversation with you to please understand what this actually is and what actually works. What actually works. A healthful, wholesome, whole food diet of a wide variety of local, organic, fresh foods, minimally processed, eaten, to the point of satisfaction, not to the point of being full, so we're not overloading our digestive system, but eating frequently throughout the day. That matters. This matters. It matters. You don't have to eat one meal a day or just 2 meals a day or fit your life into these 6-hour windows. That makes no sense. Can you get by? Yeah, you can get by. The human body is so goddamn adaptable. You can get by and do so many things, but it's not optimal. And you deserve what's optimal. You deserve what is best. And that's what we speak about here. Best practices, the most actionable, evidence-based, honest information possible. That's what we provide you here on this channel. So I appreciate you guys taking the time for this. And Angel, do you have a program for type 1 diabetics and weight loss? Yes, we do. You would work alongside with one of our registered dietitians who will work with you in conjunction with your medical team to provide you exactly what you need for yourself. Now, guys and gals, I have to get off right now. Unfortunately, I will come back on and answer these questions for you. I'll answer these questions in the comment section below. I have to get off and pick up my daughter, but I wanted to have this conversation with you. I wanted to let you know that how important this is, how crucially important this is for you guys. I really appreciate you being here. If you care, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, all that fun stuff. But if nothing else, what's your reverse hyper? I have a reverse hyper actually right there. I agree with Rogan. I agree with Rogan on a lot of stuff. I disagree on quite a few other things. The reverse hyper is one of the things that Joe and I 100% are on the same page. Sean Baker, I think Sean's probably a good guy, but I completely disagree. I think he got his ego involved in this whole carnivore thing. But I'd love to get Sean on the show. Guys and gals, I do have to get off. I have to pick up my daughter from class right now, but I will be back on here. I will answer these questions. Leave comments below. Leave comments below. I will answer them one by one, and maybe some of your comments I will actually turn into videos down the road. But please watch this video again. Please take this information to heart. And I did it. I've walked the walk. I've walked the walk. I've been on this journey. I'm on this lifelong journey right now. I'm not just some dude who's trying to convert and monetize, which is why I'm not a keto guy, not a carnivore guy. I'm not a hashtag guy. I'm sitting here going against the grain, telling you guys the truth. And it's fucking crazy to me that going against the grain these days is telling you guys to eat a wide variety of real food, fresh, local, organic. That's crazy. They think I'm fucking crazy and I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm telling you to eat a wide variety of real foods, fresh, local, natural, organic, unprocessed, minimally prepared. That's fucking crazy. Where I have better outcomes than nearly every one of them. Nobody has walked in my shoes. Nobody's been in my shape. Nobody's as strong. Nobody's as fit. Nobody's as lean. Nobody has as good a blood work. None of these fuckers have this, or the robust team that we have, or the resume that we have. They don't have this. We have this. You guys know that we have this. And I'm happy to debate or converse or, open, respectful dialogue with any of them and challenge them publicly so you guys can see what actually works. All right. I appreciate you. I must go. Until next time. Boom.